Psst. Psst. Hey. Yeah. Over here. Yeah, on the right side of your brain. Yeah. See, I'm kind of hiding over here on the right side of your ears because I can't say what I'm about to say too loud. See, what I'm about to share with you is going to directly affect the impact your life, your brand, or your business will have on this world. But, sorry, a little too loud there. There are very powerful people who don't want you to know this. Okay, look, are you familiar with thermodynamics? No? Okay, me either. Too loud again, sorry. How about the word entropy? Okay, I'm going to make this as simple as possible without just being too obvious. The law of average. You know what? I know you're a visionary and you are in the process of building something. But have you ever found yourself in periods of stagnation, overwhelm, frustration, or paralyzation? Right. Me too. That's why I have to share this whole law of average thing with you. Just lock your phone, settle in on your drive, your workout, whatever you're doing. I'm going to try to break this thing down to you in a few minutes. Just let me get to a safer place first. You're listening to the Build Your Vision podcast, a podcast series about maneuvering the ups and downs of building a life that you're proud of, captured in real time. A community where dreamers become doers and doers become world changers. Let's go. Whew, okay, you're still here. Great. I'm in my office now and I'm pulling up some research I've been working on since the last season of the podcast. I've been busy, y'all. Let me introduce myself and the show if this is your first time listening. This is the Build Your Vision podcast, the #1 self-leadership podcast for visionaries who are serious, not just curious about building a life and business they're proud of. And my name's Clee, also known as Clee the Visionary. I'm your self-leadership coach, and it is my mission to take you on the journey of becoming a visionpreneur, an individual who makes impact and income with their ideas, insights, or influence because someone else needs what you're building. Now, let me ask you this. Are you pursuing excellence in your life, brand, and business? Like, I'm really asking. Answer me, at least in your head. Okay, cool. I thought so. There is a direct enemy to excellence called average. Hence, why I'm talking to you about this whole law of average thing. Now, it's perfectly normal to assume that the enemy of excellence would be something like bottom rung, menial, entry level, but that's not the case. That would be too obvious. See, you know those powerful people that I mentioned earlier? They're really, really smart, man. Average is like the person in the movie that we kind of forget about because they appear to just be a harmless supporting character, but it turns out he or she is like the evil mastermind behind the whole operation. See, the superpower of the law of average is that it's subtle, it's unassuming, and it's incremental in its approach. It simply presents itself not as being the opposite, but the counterfeit of the characteristics of excellence. So what are the characteristics of excellence? I'm glad you asked. I'm pulling them up on my screen right now. Okay, here they are. Passion, competency, flexibility, communication, and ownership. Cool, right? I think it's easy to agree that your attitude, your competency, your flexibility, your communication skills, and your ownership contribute to the excellence that you will attain in life. But here's the part I don't think we talk about enough, and these are the characteristics of average. Get this. The characteristics of average are indifference, ignorance, inflexibility, miscommunication, and posing. It's like two all-star starting fives matched up against each other.
Starting at point guard, 6'2", from the University of Productivity, it's flexibility! Give it up for Team Excellence! Now clap your hands for the opposition, Team Average! Starting at power forward, he's the big man on the block, 6'9", from the University of Confusion, Miscommunication!
I do not know why my brain is like this. Why did I do that? That's how I saw it, guys. I'm a big basketball fan if you can't tell. Average is super sneaky, man. It creeps up on you, never truly making itself known. The opposite would be too obvious. Passion doesn't turn into disinterest, it turns into indifference. Ownership doesn't turn into disownership, it turns into being a poser. Someone who presents ownership on the surface, but in reality, they pass off blame. Competency, flexibility, and communication just don't flip on their heads. They just become degraded versions of themselves. This is the cunning of average. But I don't just view average as something to be weary of for the sake of business or personal development. The law of average is actually an act of spiritual warfare. Hey, before we get back to the episode, I want to let you know that Build Your Vision has started a virtual community. I know, right? The Build Your Vision World Changers Community Facebook group is a real thing, y'all. The biggest successes in my life over the past few years I know have come as a result of who I've surrounded myself with. And I am involved in multiple communities with like-minded people that push me toward my goals and not distract me from them. So I was like, why not have that place for visionaries like you too? So you could join the community and bounce your ideas off others, get inspiration, ask questions, and I'll even be doing some live vision coaching in there. The Build Your Vision World Changers community is a place that you can safely build a life and business that you are proud of. The link is in the show notes, y'all. Looking forward to seeing you in the community. All right, let's get back to the episode. The devil doesn't want us to be in utter chaos. Chaos is a catalyst for change. He wants us to be comfortable to maintain. Then nothing changes, except it does. We just don't realize it. It happens slowly, gradually, incrementally, until you waste away into a version of yourself that is nearly unrecognizable from where you first began when you started building your vision. There's no such thing as maintaining. You're either growing or dying. Don't believe me? Okay, maybe you'll believe science. I was recently reintroduced to something that I learned back in middle school, but I had forgotten all about. It's called entropy. It's from the second law of thermodynamics. This law simply means that energy, regardless of what form of matter it is in, will tend towards a less useful, more disordered state over time unless acted upon by external force. In other words, anything left to itself within itself will become less of itself unless something outside of itself acts upon it. This is what average is. It's the second law of thermodynamics at work on a spiritual level. Remember, everything in the world is made up of energy. This includes your thoughts, your attitudes, your words. If we are not intentional about achieving excellence every day, the law of average will take place slowly but surely. We will begin to drift. And when we wake up, we're so far from the shore, it feels like we may never get back to the dream we once had for our lives, our brand, or our businesses. But as a listener to this podcast, I know you're allergic to average. How do I know? Because listeners to this podcast are visionaries, and visionaries are allergic to average. Now, I didn't say that visionaries are never influenced by the law of average, but you are allergic to it. If you're listening to me right now and you think the clause of average may have gotten a grip on you, you've been drifting, maintaining, posing as someone who's getting things done, but deep down you know very little progress has been made to the true vision you have in your heart. You may have been feeling restless, frustrated, depressed, overwhelmed, or paralyzed. It's because you're having an allergic reaction. I'm allergic to nuts, and I actually had 2 allergic reactions in the year 2022, and I rarely ever have allergic reactions. Man, those things suck. The last one, your boy, I thought I was legit about to die. As a visionary, average agitates you. It gives you a rash, even when you haven't specifically identified it. And it probably not only agitates you when you're average, it probably agitates you when you see others being average too. It's okay. You're not weird, unrealistic, or crazy. You're just a visionary, a small minority of the general population. It's cool. You're at home here. I know I'll probably say it 1,000 times, but the difference between a dreamer and a visionary is this. A dream is the ability to see what can't be seen. A vision is the action of seeing what can't be seen. The common denominator? Visionaries act on the unseen while dreamers just like to look at it. The law of average is like a virus. It can't be seen until it's too late and you're already sick, infected, and down for the count. Well, at least for most. Some have the ability to see the symptoms of average before they're fully manifest. The people who win in life are the ones that take action before the epidemic breaks out. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, average is very contagious. It spreads with rapid speed. If you want your life, your brand, your business, or your ministry to be profitable and something you are truly proud of, you have to be able to stop average dead in its tracks. This ability alone will separate you from the general population and will put you in the top percentile of visionaries around the world who change lives, communities, and family trees. I don't know about you, but I am allergic to average. But how can we stop it? Here's where you can start. This episode is made in partnership with Audible. I love Audible. I mean, look, people say, Cleavon, man, you like to read and all that stuff. No, I do not. I do not like to read. I like to learn. There is a difference. In fact, I'm a super, super slow reader. Like, it takes me forever to read anything. People be telling me to read the captions on their posts, and I be struggling to do it so I don't look silly taking so long. That's how bad I am at reading and comprehending. But when I do an Audible, I just listen to the book. Then if I like the book, I actually buy the hard copy of the book or the ebook version of the book. Then I listen and read the book so I can comprehend it even more. Then I read it again while taking notes, so then I can actually apply the information to my life and benefit the results of reading the book. But it wouldn't happen. None of that would happen if I didn't listen to the audiobook on Audible. I love Audible. And if you're listening to this podcast, you can get a 30-day free trial by clicking the link in my show notes. Look, you even get a free audiobook in the trial. You're welcome. Slow readers unite. Let's get back to the episode. For you to counter the law of average, I'm going to need you to take something, make something, and break something. Here they are. Take stock of where you are first. Have you been influenced by the law of average? I know I've caught myself in this a few times. Have you found yourself loathing in indifference, inflexibility, miscommunication, or posing like you're getting something done, but not really taking ownership of getting real results? Take stock. Be self-aware. Have you fallen prey to the law of average? Second thing, I need you to make the decision that you are allergic to average and it is bad for your health as a visionary. For people like you and me, sitting at average will eventually kill you. The allergic reaction will take over your body. The paralyzation, the stagnation, the depression that ensues from you just feeling constricted may not take your life, but it will definitely take your soul. And that's what the enemy wants. I'm not joking when I say this is an act of spiritual warfare. Last thing, break the hypnotization of average in your life. Now, average is hard to spot, but we've gone through the take and make portion of these steps already, so you have been made aware of it. What I need you to do is to take one day and just track everything you do for that day, from the moment you get up to the end of the day before you go to sleep, and see how much time you legitimately spend building your vision. I mean, directly building your brand, your business, or your ministry, not any type of fluff or work adjacent time. I mean, actually getting work done. Hold on to that number. We're going to meet back, look at that number, and see how we can make changes so that the law of average no longer gets us as visionaries. This is just one part of a series I'm doing on the podcast called Allergic to Average. I'm telling you, I have done this myself by tracking my day. I was flabbergasted by how much time I thought I was spending on work or how much time I thought I was spending in relaxation compared to what it actually was. I felt like I was like stupid or something. Like, how did I not know this is where my time was going? I'm just asking for you to do it for one day. You have your phone on you all the time. Just track it in your notes app, anything like that. All right, guys, that's what I need you to take, make, and break. Take stock of where you are. Make the decision that you are allergic to average and break the hypnotization of average over your life by taking a day to track your time. Here's the bottom line. These powerful people that I mentioned earlier want you to be lulled to sleep by average. The reason you feel allergic, out of place, misunderstood a lot of times is because most of the country, if not the world, is asleep. As Dave Ramsey says, if you want to live like no one else, you got to live like no one else. We all have eyes to see, but only a few will act. And that's why only a few will win, while others blame everyone else but themselves. I'm sure we've all been dragged down by the law of average before at some point in our lives. But remember what the law says. Anything left to itself, within itself, will become less of itself unless something outside of itself acts upon it. That's the loophole. All you have to do is act against it. But that doesn't just happen. It has to be intentional. It has to be purposeful. And I'm going to show you how I broke the law. But how bad do you want to leave a legacy? Remove struggle from your community and your family. There are powerful people in this world that want you to do nothing. Who's going to win? The choice is yours. Executive production by Clee Davis. Music production by Clee Davis and Christian Hernandez. The Build Your Vision podcast is a product of Build Your Vision, LLC.